Welcome to the Better Mind Center's YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, the Better Mind Center is a group of mind-body oriented therapists and coaches helping clients recover from chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. We are excited to be here with you and for you to join us for our Troubleshooting Your Technique series. In this series, we dive deeper into traditional mind-body recovery tools. We will share new perspectives and techniques for you to try during your recovery journey. My name is Rachel Mooers.
I'm Valentina Matosian.
And today we are going to be talking about insomnia. So this is a big topic, and honestly, there's a lot of nuance to untangling all the factors that may be at play for a person when it comes to difficulty with sleep, whether that's kind of a short-term, little bout of difficulty sleeping, or if it's something that's more persistent or chronic in nature. Some of the things that are at play here could include things like nightmares or co-occurring things happening like pain during sleep or pain upon wakening. There are other things like, hormonal issues or sleep medications, all kinds of stuff. We're really just like touching the iceberg. I think it's important to say every nervous system is different, and different factors may be at play to varying degrees when it comes to these issues and working with insomnia. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing on fear and poor sleep and a cycle that comes up around that, and things like pressure and urgency with sleep, and how to kind of work with some of those things and get more into your body, both during the day and at night when it comes to time to rest. So with that being said, what we had talked about that might be useful to delineate between it is this difference between, more persistent sleep issues and, just like a difficult period of time when we're sleeping. So Valentina, would you have anything you would say of how you just pull apart which one's which or how you look at that?
Absolutely. I love talking about this. I myself had insomnia for over a decade, went through a lot of different tools, techniques, treatments. And what I found was that a lot of the things that were out there were to address shorter term sleep issues or improving your sleep if there wasn't huge amounts of fear around sleep versus a chronic sleep condition, which creates this intense fear around sleep, around rest, and so much pressure around it. The first thing that I'm talking about, the tools and techniques look like no screens before bed, no caffeine after a certain amount of time. Those quick fixes versus really figuring out how to decrease fear around rest, around sleep, and really get into your body during the day and in the evening so that we can let go, right? And those tools and techniques are very different. And what a lot of insomnia talk is around that first one versus the latter one that's chronic.
It's so cool to hear you name that, because I think what I found a lot and talking with people when sleep is a big issue is that pressure and the fear piece. Valentina, like some of the common things that I hear are, if I don't get a good night's sleep, my day is going to be terrible tomorrow.
Yep.
How am I going to be able to keep up with the things in my life if I have a bad night's sleep? There's this like sense of dread or doom, or just like it becomes so much pressure at night because it's like, if I don't get this, if this doesn't work, I'm screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just compounds and compounds and compounds and compounds unconsciously a lot of the time, right? We're not even consciously thinking about, oh my God, look at how much pressure I'm putting on myself. But even the way that you're talking about it, look at how much pressure that is. Look at how much pressure then that is to sleep for a certain amount of time or to sleep well.
Yes, I'm so glad you bring that up, because I think when anyone talks about this, it feels like it's trying to help it. It's trying to solve it. It's doing what you can to make it better, right? No one thinks, oh, I'm going to put this crazy amount of pressure on myself. They think, oh my gosh, tomorrow is really important. What can I do right now to help myself? But it's really important that we talk about this, because if you think about what are all those scary messages that I'm getting or predictions I'm making about how the day will go if I don't sleep well, think about like what's happening to your nervous system right now when we talk about that. Do you feel cozy, calm, relaxed, green light, like you could drift off? Or do we feel like the lion is coming? I've got to figure this out. There's this sense of, this tightening that happens around it. So this is why we want to talk about the pressure that naturally comes up, this natural response of I want to help, and how that actually reinforces the fear and it gets the cycle off and running.
Totally, totally. And I think that the cycle also, again, unintentionally can be with those around us, right? Rest is so important. You have to rest. Rest is really important. Make sure you're resting. It's like that in and of itself. Even as I'm saying that, my body is tensing up and I'm feeling anxious, right? I can feel that in my chest versus I can trust that I can rest. If I sleep, if I don't sleep, I'm going to be okay the next day, right? Even that feels better in my body as I'm saying that versus, okay, I've got to figure it out. That is giving us the message, oh no, I got to tense, which is going to, like you said, just continue the fear, poor sleep cycle.
Yes, I love that you named that piece, Valentina, because I think what a big pitfall in this is all the things we try to do that feel helpful that actually end up adding to this pressure. So that could be well-intentioned people, that can be doctors, that can be a loved one who's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
These sorts of things. And what I hear you saying is, one, it's okay. It's okay. We really are moving towards like you're going to be okay even if you don't sleep very well for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that it's okay that you feel bad, that we're like dismissing that, like it's difficult. I'm exhausted, but it's just to pull down the pressure around it and the fear of like, if I don't get great sleep, I'm really in trouble or something bad is going to happen. My immune system will be shot. I'm going to get sick, these sorts of things. Humans go through natural periods of better sleep or not. I can look back on plenty of times in my life where I was getting less than 8 hours, turned out fine.
Of course.
Or even like, there's natural stages, right? Like when you have kids, you're going to go through a period of time where you're going to be sleeping a lot less or differently. That doesn't mean, and that's a natural part of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more that we put the pressure of this has to be different, this has to be different, this has to be different. Oh no, it's been going on for too long. It's been happening for too long. This is scary. This is scary. This is scary. The harder and harder it's going to be embodied and to remove that pressure from ourselves, right? Yeah.
So I love that we get to talk about some of these, like this as one of the major pitfalls when it comes to, working with difficulty sleeping. It makes me want to kind of, where we go into what we troubleshoot around this is first, how are we relating to the insomnia? How are we relating to ourselves around this? We recognize that sense of pressure that we're putting on ourselves, or even like, how are we relating to ourselves during the day? Like, am I going from, busyness, one activity into the other, and then when I get to sleep, like to settle at night, that's the first time where I'm like, or do I have other times where that's happening? Are we recognizing what's going on?
Exactly. And I love that you're bringing this up, and our society does not naturally create those breaks and those moments of embodiment and rest for us. So we have to do that ourselves. And I think that is a key important part in anyone struggling with insomnia is putting those breaks within your day, right? Checking in with yourself and noticing, am I grabbing my phone when I'm wanting to take that break and just numbing out, right? Or am I really checking in with myself? Am I slowing down the process of X, Y, or Z, right? And it doesn't have to look like these grand moments of, I'm going to take a 2-hour siesta, although that would be awesome. Sometimes we don't have time for that, but it could be a 5-minute bathroom break, right? And sitting in the bathroom and doing something that is helpful to embody whatever is happening, whether that's just squeezing your hands, whether that's just a light touch, right? Anything to get us back into the present moment.
So I hear what you're saying is one of the main things we can do to kind of take off pressure at night and help this kind of getting into our bodies is these small ways to invite in, I guess, presence,
Yeah.
but also relaxation, like feeling like nice during the day. So I wonder, you said kind of squeeze those. What else like this? Like what other
Ah,
ways would you say, how could this look?
yes. So, okay. So something that was really, really, really revolutionary and helpful for myself is during the day practicing these moments of coming from a higher dysregulated state into a state of relaxation. And so for myself, that looked like doing yoga nidra or somatic tracking, body scans multiple times throughout the day, right? That was really what was helpful for me in terms of just creating those pauses. It doesn't have to look like that for you. It could be as simple as squeezing your hands and really getting into your body, feeling what that feels like, squeezing all over your body, right? A light touch, maybe. It could be your fingertips, feeling that, right? Moving into any kind of sensatory experience that moves us away from the brain and back into the body, right? And really checking in with, what does my body feel like right now? Where am I at right now? Let me just quickly, 5 seconds, squeeze my palms to come back to, these are my hands, these are my legs. I am here in this moment.
I really like the way you're saying this of like, this is a way to get back in because there's a difference between this, like, I know where my body is in space. I know where I am right now versus I feel where I am right now. I feel my body in
Absolutely.
space. And
Absolutely.
so things like the soft touch or like this, like, tangible feeling pulls you back into that, which helps your body orient, oh, I'm okay right now. Or here I am again.
Absolutely. Exactly. 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 Exactly.
Mm. Can I ask you, so you said a lot of this practice, you did this during the day. Can I
Yes.
ask why?
Yes. So the fear at night was often, and this is what I saw with myself and what I see with a lot of clients, is the fear in the night is too high to get back into that regulated embodied state, right? So practicing during the day, the pressure is inherently going to be lower to rest, to get in a state of relaxation, not even to sleep during the day and take naps, but just to get back into that regulated state, right? Versus at night, what I experienced myself and what I see all the time is it's so heightened that we have to practice, and the brain has to kind of get into those grooves during the day before we are able to do that in the evening, because the pressure that we've built around night is so scary. And so doing all of these different exercises, I would always practice them before it got dark out, because I started to notice the feelings of nervousness, of pressure, of anxiety, of stress would come as like the sun went down, right? As it was time to rest, right? My body wanted to resist that so much because that is what it had learned.
That's where pressure would come up of, I've got to make this work a certain way.
Exactly. So the more that I practiced it during the day, the easier it got to understand how to get that in the evening, and the more that I was processing during the day versus going, right? And then collapsing, but processing, checking in, rather than being disassociated or disembodied in the evening and having only this one opportunity to feel the flooding in of the day.
How am I today? Yeah.
Yeah. I was asking myself that throughout the day. How am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing? Right.
Yeah. And you know what I really like about that, and I think the brilliance, Valentina, of this shift of I'm going to practice this during the day when the stakes are lower. We talk about this a lot with somatic tracking of somatic track when your pain is lower. Somatic track nice. Sometimes I'll teach it. Learn how to somatic track positive sensations before we even touch the pain, because we want to set it up so that we can be okay with it, so we can explore it, so that there's not this sense of pressure that says gotta
Yeah.
go this certain way.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
What I would, kind of add to that of, because sometimes I think when you said that, some people might be like, I'm not, dissociated during the day. I'm going through my day. But there's a real one. I think there's kind of, we could look at this also as just being on autopilot.
Absolutely.
We've got to get through a lot of things. Life is busy and full. So this way of saying, what's going on with me, checking in, time to feel or to say, can I find myself inside,
Yeah.
is really to help that, I don't have to be on autopilot all the time. I can drop to a lower level. Or what are these positive cues that help me kind of go from zooming around
Yeah.
that might not even feel like zooming, it just feels like going along,
Yeah.
to the settling, which is where we're really trying to go with sleep, to teach the nervous system, I can come down. I can come back up, but
Mhm.
I can come down. And we're really looking for that uh, flexibility or that ease to move through it.
Totally, totally. And it doesn't need to like look any certain way or be any certain way. It can be I'm driving in the car, the kids are screaming in the back, and I can feel my hands on the steering wheels, right? Like that simplicity of I am in my body, I am regulating. Yes, there is chaos around me. Yes, there are lots of things going on. I can take a second to be with myself, right? And to be kind to myself.
Oh, I love that you added that, like, to be kind to myself, that what's happening is okay. And I'm not going to fix it or get into that whole, maybe there's a theme here about pressure and about working with this stuff, but
Yeah.
it's okay where I'm at. What are my cues of I'm okay right now? What feels nice right now? All of this kind of moves towards that, bit by bit piece of I'm okay right now. I can drop in a little bit and I don't have to respond in a way that adds fuel to the fire.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Valentina, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey. And everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us. If you are looking for one-on-one support, or if you would like to stay connected, please reach out to thebettermindcenter.com, or at better.with.christy on Instagram, or subscribe to our channel to watch other videos. The links are down below. Until next time.